Why can't you hear a pterodactyl when it goes to the bathroom? Because the P is silent. What's going on, YouTube? What if I told you that you were looking at the most overpowered tame in the entirety of Ark Ascended right now? The liopleurodon is a tame that basically saw almost zero utilization in the previous Ark Survival game. However, on Ascended, it's seen a new light, and we're going to talk about why that is in this video, because if you want to get yourself and your tribe the most amazing BPs, pre-made structures, saddles, and all those other good things, you're going to want to really pay attention to this bad boy right here. And before I show you guys some gameplay of why this is so overpowered, let's talk about the basics right here. So to get yourself a liopleurodon, they're going to be essentially on the outskirts of the ocean. You can see right here, they are a rare spawn. However, if you get a fast mount in the ocean, you're going to be able to find one relatively quickly. In testing, we were able to find one about every 10 to 15 minutes. We were looking for them. And then down here, you can see like we were looking at that they are a passive tame. Now, because basically ASA is always on 1.5 times to 3 times, it seems like these days, one giant bee honey is going to tame you this bad boy. And as you can see here, the liopleurodon is a passive tame. It only eats giant bee honey. It is a temporary tame lasting 30 minutes before the liopleurodon disappears. And this is where it gets extra juicy. So if you've been reading to this point, watching to this point, you're probably like, the fuck does this thing do? The Mystic Skin Oil buff lasts for 6 hours, can't be cryopotted, and the Mystic Skin Oil ends if your character dies or transfers. Also make sure you don't obviously fast travel with it. That's the same as dying when it comes to this buff. Also, we found in our testing that if the server goes down for an update, you will lose that buff. So you're probably thinking to yourself, so I get a buff from this dinosaur? This dinosaur lasts for 30 minutes. If I ride it, I get this Mystic Skin Oil buff. And yes, and let me tell you, that buff is game changing. And here's what it says that it does. We're going to jump into some gameplay then afterwards, and you're going to see the effects of the power of this buff. But here's what it does. It's a loot booster, among other things. The liopleurodon gives the Mystic Skin Oil buff that increases the rarity of any loot box you open. Deep sea loot crates, supply crates, etc. You'll see a sparkle when you approach them to signify that the contents have been changed. When you move far away from the liopleurodon, the buff will still persist for 6 hours. Then it says until you die. We talked about that already. And then this also still works for Winter Wonderland buffs. So this will work still, even when Santa Claus is coming to town. It also gives you some interesting bonuses as well as decreased oxygen consumption. So if you're, for example, looking for deep sea loot crates, what I would suggest that you do is that you put on a flak chest piece or a chest piece that's not a scuba tank. And then as your oxygen slowly decreases, then you put back on your scuba tank. You'll save yourself immense amounts of scuba tank durability, and you'll get yourself kind of farming it the most effective way. However, I actually don't think that farming deep sea loot crates is the most effective way to utilize this buff, and here's what our testing has showed. So what Ree did is Ree took a lot of really unique approaches to getting this buff. We give a bunch of people this buff, and we made them do all sorts of different types of things. For example, you'll see in my gameplay that I go off and I just farm on my pterodon. I get red drops, I get yellow drops, I get blue drops, green drops, white drops, etc. Then I had another tribe mate who went fishing. Went fish, see if he gets some BPs. Obviously, fishing is another one of those activities that you can utilize to help get yourself some decent BPs and loot. And really, that's the key signification of what we're trying to do here today. And then I had another person, he went into caves, easy underwater, hard underwater, going to the gas cave, seeing if he's able to get some good things as well. And there was a lot that we learned while doing this. And let's talk about our findings. So we learned some amazing things during this. Now you're gonna have to create a situation where you've got some people with the haves, and then you got the Mystic Skin Oil, and then you got some people who don't have the skin oil. What did the people with the skin oil get the ability to do? They got those increased drops. However, if you read carefully, you'll see that when you get to the drop, you change the drop. So an interesting way that you guys can farm this, relearn, is that if you take somebody, have them look at the drop, say you go into a deep sea loot crate, a cave drop, or a red drop in the overworld, have somebody else look at it. You sit back with your Mystic Skin Oil and you can see if it's worth getting there. Say you find something truly crazy and you don't want to re-roll for better items. Because we'll talk a little bit about what I've noticed, what's going to be improved. For example, there's a situation where we saw an Ascendant Stego BP, but it was mixed with something goofy that we definitely didn't need. It was mixed with like some Flono McFlulu saddle that we didn't want. We took the BP out, and then the Mystic Skin Oil Man, he walked over to it, and then the loot drop changed, and that item that we left in there changes something that we did want. And that is a really good way to utilize this. If you're in the overworld, my suggestion to you is that your focus should be yellow, purple, and red drops. And those are going to be the ones that you want to focus on. Really, the best things that you're going to get from blue drops is pre-made structures like behe gates. And yes, those things can be helpful, but overall, when you're getting things like purple drops that can give you flak BPs, and then you're getting pre-made shotguns from the other drops, and I was getting things such as indie grinders, industrial forges, sometimes as much as a 10 stack of C4. Those are really going to want to be what your focus is. So the best place to get those drops, I've learned, is that if you stick in the upper left and the top right corners of the map, that's near Blue Op, that's near Carnal Island, continuing to circle in that area is going to give you the best loot pools. Now, there are situations too where if there's a bunch of blue drops coming down, you might want to go pick those up, just see what they are. Most likely you're going to toss them on the ground. You might get some ammo or something from something that you might want to keep. I always encourage you guys to just keep whatever resources you need. For example, we were in a situation where we were just grinding stimulant, so I was like, well, I'll keep all the stimulant that I get. You know, I'm not going to throw away stone behe gates, you know, so you can continue to keep those items. But obviously the loot crates will sit on the ground for a while. So if you have like 5 blue drops in the blue and you want to start getting yourself some more purples, yellows, and reds, you're going to want to really start to make sure that you cycle through those items. Another way that makes this method significantly easier is if you go out and you make sure that you have TPs on your server. So for example, we have metal, poly, TP, so I can flip between different base locations over near Pillar, over near Metal Mountain, over near the Polymer area with the penguins. This allows me to, if there's a bunch of drops coming down far away, I can jump on a teleport, get myself a little bit closer. It has to be a teleporter though. Remember, you cannot bed hop or do any sort of shenanigans like that. So it's really important that you consider that when you're looking for drops, especially because Raptor Claws is going to buff these drops too. And let's talk about why this is so important. And the reason is actually relatively simple. BPs are immensely important. Your ability to do things like boss fights with, you know, Ascendant shotguns. If you're finding pre-made shotguns that are 298, you know, you're not going to have to farm, you know, 2,000 to 3,000 polymer, you know, for one person to get a shotgun to go into an Alpha Dragon fight. You know, I was getting shotgun shells, C4, rockets. You know, those are all things that you can just pick up and have for free while you're getting really good things such as flak BPs that you're going to be able to replicate for cheap. You know, things like Apprentice and Journeyman, Mastercraft, Ascendant, flak BPs all have their place. You know, for example, you know, at the end of the previous Ark Survival, there were some amazing, you know, low cost BPs that were being used by people that you're going to be able to utilize if you find them in these drops. And this goes for any server type. You could be PvP, PvE, crossplay, consoles only. This is going to benefit you regardless of what you do, because at the end of the day, you're going to want these BPs, even if it's just to get guns to do a boss fight, or maybe it's to get explosives to defend your base. The nice thing is even while you're getting things like C4, because yes, in theory, going out grinding C4, it's going to be faster for you to go out and just grind it yourself by getting all the materials. You're not rolling for a chance to get a 298 pump shotgun with 100 shells in the same drop. You know, those are things that you're not rolling for when you're, you know, just grinding C4. That's why it's good to have a few people do this throughout the day, and it's going to be immensely important that you have somebody do this when you're getting ready for Raptor Claws. It only costs honey, and it only costs you just swimming around on the ocean. Most of you guys probably live in easy or hard underwater. You got some vacuum bases, you got your anglerfish out there. And if you saw on there, again, it won't even attack you if you're dismounted from a tame. It'll just look at you. It's a mythical creature of old times. So that's why this is going to be so important for you guys to do. And I hope you guys get some of the cool things that I got while doing this and recording this video. Even my tribe mates got some other really cool things. We got an Ascendant Rex Saddle BP. We got capped shotgun BPs. We got capped pre-made shotguns, capped Fabi snipers. We have every single weapon BP in the game from pretty much Journeyman upward, whether it's compound bows, fabricated pistols. And yes, not all of those are going to be utilized, especially from the BP perspective, but just having them this early in the game is very helpful because server transfers are going to be opening up on PvP we want to make sure that we got ourselves in a decent spot to where we've got, good flak that we can make for people, good weapons, lots of explosives to push out fobs and things like that. So we're going to have all those things just by passively also rolling for things that we also need, such as Giga Saddles, Rex Saddles, Spino Saddles, even the lesser things like Stego Saddles, Bug Saddles. We got a Bug Saddle BP from the Easy Underwater Cave and the Oil Cave. We got some pre-mades. So this is what the method is. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. If you have more suggestions for Ark Survival Evolved videos, and for those of you who are new to the channel, we do ourselves some fun little giveaways on the channel. Basically, I ask a question at the end of the video at the post outro. If you answer that question, you're entered into a giveaway drawing. Being subscribed also puts you into the giveaway drawing. We're trying to get to the road to 20,000 subscribers. And the third thing is that all you have to do is listen for a random word be flashed upon the screen. What I do is I just hide a little secret word in the videos. If you comment that word below, you also win a $25 either gift card, merchandise draw, or anything that you would want it to be utilized on. Obviously, people can win from all around the world. So what you actually get is you can be a little bit dependent. So thank you guys so much again for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
So generally I do this ESO related stuff, so this is going to be a little bit different. The question is there things that you would like covered on Ark Survival Evolved? I play on official, so I would be able to give you guys some perspective from the PvP official console realm. I've obviously played crossplay before. I played Xbox only, so I could give you guys a lot of perspective on different things. We've done boss fights. We're getting ready to do different types of content that might be helpful for other people to see before they replicate it themselves. So if you think anything that would be helpful, or we could talk about anything from optimal character design on your character to, getting console commands to make sure you can actually see, to how to counter certain types of, PvP things, all sorts of mumbo jumbo. Interested to see what your guys' perspective is, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.